Hey, everybody. My name is Dane Clement. I'm Executive Creative Director for Stahls. You can find me there
Oh,
at most of the big shows and also at daneclement.com. So, for almost maybe 30 years, actually, plus, I think I've been known as the Photoshop guy. I've been working in Adobe Photoshop since version 2 before they even had layers in it, right? So, I am an absolute Photoshop guy. I love it. I use it every day. But that's my job, right? I'm the art guy, so I have to fool with all the things, and all the things meaning alternatives as well, right? And especially today, when you have AI apps generating all the artwork, even better and faster than we could at Great Dane Graphics. Uh, they have most of them have a thing called the canvas area, right? Which would have some generative fill opportunities. And maybe we'll get into that in some future episodes here. But uh, this particular one does not have a generative fill, but that's kind of almost the only thing it doesn't have that Photoshop has. So you can get by with maybe using the canvas areas in some of the AI apps to do those kinds of things, but this has almost everything else, right? So it is a what for what um, new version or a free version of Photoshop. And that's the crazy part, right? So it is free. So that means you're going to see these ads, right? Which is, kind of annoying. If you keep it full screen, you forget about them pretty quick, right? You're just working on and stuff. Or you can do like this. Look, don't tell anybody that, but now I can't see it, right? Uh, so if I'm going to create my own artwork in here, I'm going to come in and I can hit new project here or go to file new. So let's go ahead and hit the new project because this is the one of the most important things that we can do when creating our artwork is this. We fill out this information here. Now, here's some more ads. I wouldn't recommend doing this because that can get really goofy, right? It's not that big a deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to inches, and I'm just going to show you at Great Dane Graphics that when we created all of our artwork, I went 14 by 14, right, at 300 pixels per inch. And for some reason, as soon as I raise up this pixels per inch, it goes to 3.5 by 3.5. But you just got to kind of do it twice. Still one goofy little thing, and I don't understand why that is, but it's a thing. So I showed you. There you go. It's done. We're past it. My backgrounds, I can click on it. It's white, black, or transparent. I always create on a transparent background. And if you're going to be printing artwork for DTFs and things like that and sending them out, maybe to have them printed or whatever, or you're going to print on your own equipment, most of the equipment manufacturers want you to use an sRGB color profile. So I'm just going to leave it there. I'll hit create. And then we get this. This is our transparent background, right? We have gray and white checkers in there. And if you look at the interface looks exactly like Photoshop. I ain't gonna lie. So watch Command 0 or Control 0. It's my shortcut to fill my screen. Same. Almost all of the shortcuts are the same from Photoshop to here. So if you're using Photoshop now and you're paying that creeping up to $60 a month for the suite that you don't want to pay for, or you're paying $20 a month maybe just for Photoshop, you can literally legit, if you have your shop creating designs and artwork things, you don't need to. This is legit and it's rock solid. It's pretty amazing. So over here on the left hand side are all the tools, right? If I click on a tool, for instance, and hold my mouse down, you can see almost all the tools have this little arrow in the bottom right corner. Guess what? Just like Photoshop. So if I choose this tool, click and hold, I have a magic wand tool, quick selection tool, and object selection, right? Lasso tool, I can click and hold, polygon, magnetic lasso. Guess what? Just like Photoshop. So all these tools, right? Here's another one. We got spot healing brush, patch tool, red eye tool. I mean, all the things. I don't even honestly I don't know how this is legal, but these guys have been around doing this for a long, long time. Now, anybody that's ever taken my classes, Photoshop classes or whatever at shows, if I go to this image menu and I come down to adjustments, I like to call this Photoshop's Corvette engine, right? We just lifted the hood. Well, guess what? This is Photop's Corvette engine. Same power, same stuff. And it's super, super powerful, right? So I spent a lot of time in this menu for lots of things. So let's go ahead and over here real quick, we have the text tool panels, we have paragraph panels, all the things. We have layers, channels, and paths, right? We got swatches over here. So there's it's we got effects, right? We can lock things. We got photo mask, adjustment layers, all that kind of stuff, right? So it's really a free version of Photoshop. Now the only thing, two things. Obviously, you have the ads, no big deal, but that is a thing you got to deal with. And number two, you need an internet connection, right? So it will reach out to the cloud and it needs that interactivity. So let's just show a couple of things real quick. I'm going to go to my file menu, right? I can hit open and I can choose an image, right? So we're going to bring that image in, and there it is. It's one layer. It's generated on a white background because in my AI app, I asked it to isolate on a white background. So there it is. But if I want to change the color of this happens to be sort of a monochromatic image, right? So what I can do is just like I would do it in Photoshop, right? There's 10 ways to do anything in Photoshop and in here, as a matter of fact, because it has all the same tools. I say that as a caveat because there's one or two things that you can live without that it doesn't have. But almost, I would say 98% of the features that Photoshop has, it's in here, and this is free. So there's that. But in order to change this, if I go to image menu, right, and I go to adjustments and I come down to hue saturation, I'll get this window. Well, this window is all the things that I would normally have in my hue saturation window in Photoshop. So this being a monochromatic style image, if I just want to hue shift that color, I grab my hue slider and I start moving it around, and I can change it to the color that I want, right? And whatever that color is, maybe it's nice teal color. I don't know. I can saturate it up if I want. I can desaturate it all the way down, just like in Photoshop, and make it a grayscale, right? So just so you know that that's what this stuff is here for. So find a color that you like. I dig green. I can hit OK. And I just change the color that fast, right? So next thing I can do is go to File menu here. And here's another thing I can go up to this File menu, and there is no new or there's no open file, right? So what you got to try to do when you're working inside of Photopea is just use this list of menus here. So I'm going to go to File, Open again. We'll open something else, maybe a master drop down. Oh, no, let's do this. I'm going to open this one, right? Which is cool. I'll make it fill my screen so you can see it a little bit easier. AI generated, obviously, because I can spot AI artwork from 5 miles away, but it's cool. So there's that. So I think, again, image, right? Adjustments, and I can go to hue saturation, and I'll do the same thing. If I move my hue slider, look what happens. It literally changes the information in here. Now, if I reset this, that's gray. It's kind of like a really warm gray, but it's a gray. But there's gray data. That's the stuff that it's going to change, right? It's going to change it in Photoshop or here. It doesn't affect your blacks and it doesn't affect your whites, but it will change any of the in betweens. So if I wanted this to be a team color, right? I don't know, whatever your team happens to be. Where I went to school in my high schools back in the day, something like that. I can saturate it up. That would work. I can put Archbishop Shaw on there, and there's that, right? So, um, one more hue slider there. So let me go ahead and open up the next level here. A couple minutes, then we got to roll. So I'm going to open this one, right? Fill the screen here. So obviously another AI generated artwork, but if I want to change these colors, and that's to me, that's why I like to show this piece of it, because that is one of the biggest things that we're going to need. AI can generate great artwork. You can ask it to use this lion and do it in green and white or purple colors, but it still may not give you everything you need. So you got to be able to fine tune it. So this here, if I want to get rid of that blue, make it a team color, image adjustments, hue saturation. Anytime I'm going to change color in Photoshop, I'm going to go to this one window almost all the time, right? In fact, I'm going to go there every time. And sometimes, probably in 2% of the cases, it may not give me what I need. So I got to do something different. But for 98% of the time, I'm ever going to need a touch of color. This works just fine for me. So I want to change this just to blue. I don't want to change the lion face color specifically. So that's where the drop down menus come in. So I can come in here and say, you know what, let's change this cyan. That would be up in here. And again, we told Photopea to focus on that. So now it's just changing the color, right? To, again, let's just assume I want to do something with uh, my high school or local college we have around here. I could do like that. Now, uh, Southeastern Lions, this will work perfectly well for it. So it's super fast. It's super easy. It's rock solid. You just need an internet connection and either ignore those ads or scoot them out of the way. But if you never tried it, guess what? It's free. Go get it and see if you can save yourself 50 plus bucks a month. I think it's worth it. So that's all I got.